Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here, the Real Estate Blitz, and I'm pretty pumped today because I get to have somebody pretty cool on. Give me one second because I'm actually pulling up a couple things. Okay, good. I'm making sure we can be seen on Facebook and everybody can see us. But this is one of those opportunities where I like to bring on different types of technologies that honestly I don't know anything about. And like today's one of those days. I don't know anything about VR. Genuinely don't know anything about VR. So I thought this would be really cool to have you on. For those of you that are watching this, do me a favor and please chime in and ask a ton of questions because I have a strong feeling that we're all going to be figuring this out as we go. So Lauren, how
Yeah,
are you? Do me a favor. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
absolutely. So my name's Lauren Taylor. I started as a realtor here in the San Diego area. I broke in the top 1% in about 18 months and had a huge pipeline issue because I also have 3 kids. So I had to find a way to work smarter, not harder. And so I started to use virtual reality technology to sell houses.
See, that's so cool. And just before we even get into a lot of this stuff, I don't know if you've listened to a lot of the Real Estate Blitz, but there's certain things that I've always viewed as gimmicks. And I'm a big fan, right? And I'm sure you've
Yeah.
heard it. So it's not like I'm shocking your world, but I love the idea of being like converted. Make me a convert.
hmm
I just recently I did one on Matterport. I did a interview on a guy talking about Matterport and 3D in general, and same thing. I was like, man, it's a gimmick. But after we got to talking, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a run. So I got a couple listings that are coming up. I'm going to try Matterport on them because I think they would fit well for those types of properties. And I don't know if virtual reality is also that thing. I still feel like it's a gimmick right now, but I'm hoping that's why I want to interview. I'm like, okay, I'm hoping by the end of this, I feel differently because I'm a firm believer that we all make decisions based off of what we know, and you do better when you know better, and you know,
Well,
and
the
you don't.
same reason why
Yeah,
you think it's valuable now to offer Matterport to your sellers and to your listings, why is those reasons? Because it's important for a buyer. You don't want to waste your seller's time, right? You don't want a buyer walking through a property that it's like, well, I would never live in this floor plan, right? It's like
yeah.
now all of a sudden your seller has to clean up. It becomes like an issue sometimes. You don't want false looky-loo traffic. But the same reasons why a lot of agents are turning to Matterport to feature listings on VR is a lot of the reasons why agents are turning to us to feature properties in virtual reality to their buyers. So we're
Okay,
really
so
more of an opposite side of the spectrum
I want to
versus
ask a quick question. Do they work together? I just because like I don't know I don't know anything about VR.
yeah.
So as far as when it comes to real estate, so do you
Mhm.
have to use Matterport in order to use VR?
No, no.
Okay.
So Matterport came in a very strong way. They definitely they associate themselves as really the only VR platform for real estate, and they've done very well at marketing and branding. But a lot of times, just exactly what you just said, right? I'm going to use this for this house because it could work well for that type of property. And when you say that, you know exactly what you're saying. It has the price point that justifies the cost.
Yeah, I think sometimes, and so example, we sell a lot of luxury homes. So if it's like 1 million or $2 million, sometimes I always do video. I love video. I'm a big fan. Being able to have that's my way of walking people through and showcasing what I want them to see.
Yeah.
And even some of those homes, it doesn't make sense for me to really have somebody use Matterport to go through it. It's really the ones where I want to show them the usability in the floor plan. And sometimes it's not even about the cost. So I got this one house. It's only so what you're out here in San Diego, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get it. So it's a $300,000 house that's up in Menifee.
hmm
It's only 300,000. But when by the way, some people that watch the Real Estate Blitz, they're
I
in
know.
like markets where they're like 300,000. Holy crap, that's a lot of money, right? But that's like those are not expensive homes
But
here.
those are the
But
people who are going to love Savi Portal because we're a much more cost efficient way to get the similar type of experience.
Savvy Portal. Okay, we got so much to talk about here
So
because
much.
I am so lost. So that's good. Like I
So
love not knowing something.
perfect. So let's just take this from the very basics. All right. So
Right.
I love working with buyers. I had a really horrible experience working with a listing. I was trapped in this contract. I went to CAR. I was like, look, this has shut down my pipeline. They were like, this is a bilateral contract. You both have to get out of it. I couldn't get them to fire me. It was terrifying. It was miserable. So I love buyers personally. I love buyers because there's always another house to see. There's always another opportunity around the corner. And if you listen, they'll tell you what they want, right? And that's just a matter of time before it becoming available. But buyers can be extremely inefficient because You can show them 10 houses on Saturday, and you can know based on what you know they want and what's available on the market that none of these homes fit their needs. But that doesn't mean they don't need to see them, because if they don't see them when the right one does come on the market, they're not going to have the context to be able to move aggressively on it. And in a market like San Diego, you got to move aggressively or you're going to lose it, right?
Right.
So all I'm saying is it's time to change the conversation. Opposed to, because right now when your buyers come to you and they say, hey, Kris, we like these 8 properties. Right now, 90% of the people watching this podcast right now, or watching this cast right now, the conversation is the exact same. Great. What works best for you, Saturday or Sunday? And that's how we've done it for 30 years. They can find their house no matter where, right? They can find it on Zillow, they can find it on the MLS, no matter where they find it. What works best for you, Saturday or Sunday? So we train our agents to change the conversation. And we say, wonderful. By the end of the day tomorrow, you'll have a virtual showing in your portal. Take those tours and let me know what's worth your time to see in person. And then that way, we're not only taking control of our time, so we're in a less reactive space to when we can, when the seller's available and when the buyer's available, and now we're supposed to be available because God forbid we have any schedule conflicts.
Right. Or a family or a life or anything else. Right.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And we're taking control of the time, right? So we've taken a 25-minute in-person showing that typically takes place on the evenings or in the weekend, and we've turned it into a 7-minute virtual showing that they experience during virtual reality. And, for me, it came from like a selfish place. Like I have 3 kids. My poor husband, I would like high five him out of the driveway going off to showings. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to this. But the neatest thing happened when my buyers started to react to it, because I was like, it's kind of selfish, but I think it's a great value, right? Now I'm not wasting their time. And when I started to get the response of, wow, thanks, like we wanted to go to the beach on Saturday, like they don't want to waste their time seeing crappy houses either. Right. That's when like the magic kind of clicked. Now
you need 2 sides to this technology. I mean, so I get it for the buyer's agents. Mm-hmm. And I can, so I'm the complete opposite of you. I don't like working with buyers. Mm-hmm. In fact, whenever I got a buyer the other day, I just handed off today, it was 1.1 million. And I'm like, man, I'm good. And I passed it to somebody because I would rather work with listings. I like listings. I'm a big listings fan. Yeah. So in order for this to make sense, the listing agent, I'm assuming, mm-hmm. they actually have to create the content and put it up so the buyers
not necessarily.
View it. Okay.
We just, in the state of California, we just need consent. So Kris, your property in Carlsbad is very interesting to my buyer. Unfortunately, my buyer isn't available till this weekend, and I know it's a hot market. Would you be comfortable with me going in and creating a basic walkthrough video for my client? It's a private video. I only share it with them so that way they know if they're interested in making an offer.
That's pretty great.
Public display. Yeah. We've only ever had literally 2 agents ever say no. So I ask that in either text or email. So that way you say, yes, that's great. Just go sell the house for me. So that way obviously we have legalities here, like in every state. We don't want to do something the seller's not comfortable with, and we don't want to do something the listing agent's not comfortable with. But more often than not, the agents want their homes to be featured to those clients.
Right. What's funny is like we're so far off from the script that I wrote, but I don't really care because this is so interesting to me. It's like I said, it's so rare when I like talk to somebody and I don't have some general idea of what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm just like, I'm like the dumb kid. He's like, okay, just tell me more. So how does it exactly work? So, okay, now I'm excited and confused even more. So you go to a house, you first you call the seller's agent and seller and they give you consent. You walk into the house. And do you have to pay somebody to go and do this, or do you have like some type of equipment that you use that you show up and do for your client?
Yes. So that's a great question. Number 1, don't overcomplicate the asking of the listing agent. It's literally like an extra sentence in your confirmation of showing. So that's out the door. Number 2, yes. So I show up. I have a 360 camera, and we actually have a starter kit for our agents, mostly because we wanted to make it just so easy, right? This is a product that we're familiar with. We can support you on it. It's a 360 camera that pops right onto your cell phone, whether you're an Android or iPhone user, and it creates a fluid 360 tour of the property. Now, so
you got to like do one of these or something over your head when you're...
No, Kris, no.
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I have no clue what's going on here. And I find it so fascinating. This is cool.
We have some agents who it's great. People will love this, who try to hide from the camera. And I'm like, it's 360 degrees. Like, what degree do you think is not going to get you, right?
Right.
It's about you being a part of it, Chris. It's about the relationship. It's about the fact that when your clients get this video on their portal and they pop their phone into their goggles, that when they turn around, Lauren's standing right there, just like I would be in person, saying, hey guys, I know you wanted an open floor plan, but if you see this wall is not going to allow for that unless we can take it out. So, and so it is legitimately the same experience that you would have with your agent if you were there in person. You're only experiencing it on the comfort of your couch, hopefully with a glass of wine.
I see. Okay, I'm more intrigued, and I could definitely see, especially like for our group of people that we have, our team. I see how it could be extremely beneficial where they can hit multiple homes for their clients if their clients can't, show up. Because honestly, a lot of listing agents, same reason why I told you, probably aren't doing it because it feels like it's gimmicky when we know what works in order to sell homes.
Right.
So let me ask another question as a listing agent, which is what I specialize in. So let's say I wanted to do more 3D or not 3D, good Lord, more VR stuff, right? Mm-hmm. If I wanted to do the recordings, I can do that myself, or I can hire, because I don't want to be in it if I hire somebody for it. So that's part of the program, right? Is that how does that work?
As of right now, it's completely agent driven. So using our system, you would have to be a part of the photos. Now, I do know that there's 360 video editors out there, and in our 2.0 version, which will release end of January, there will be a 360 photo editor, which will essentially feel a little bit like Matterport, where it's like, okay, you set your camera in the middle of the room, you take a 360 picture, move your camera to the next spot, take a 360 picture, and it will allow the client to look around the room before they're moved to the next spot. Now, Matterport is user controlled, which basically means you have to click on a button and it moves you there. I don't know about you, but it feels like time travel to me. I feel like I'm being thrown somewhere. Our system is a fluid video. It's a fluid motion. You're along for the ride. You're not controlling it.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my next question. So it's kind of like it's almost like doing a property video, but it's like a walkthrough that the agent's creating. See, yeah. That's cool. I actually like that idea quite a bit.
Simple. I mean, keep in mind, I'm a 31-year-old mother of 32. Dang it, I got to stop saying it. But I created it because, first of all, I had no desire to ever sell it to any other agent. I built the system for myself to use. And then once we got to integrate with VR, I was like, okay, this is kind of industry changing. I can't really keep this to myself. And that's when we started to bring it to other agents to kind of show them the benefits of saving their time, protecting their buyers. But as a listing agent, especially you, I know that you guys have 3 offices, right? Yep. So one of our newest features that we're releasing is called our Savi Virtual Lounge, which will actually allow all of your agents to take 360 cameras. They check them out from your office. They go video their own listings, they upload it into your system, and then any agent in your brokerage can actually bring buyers into the lounge and experience all of your brokerage listings in virtual reality. So that's our newest exciting rollout that we're starting next week. You're the first person I'm telling publicly.
That's pretty cool.
Some of our agents are going to be excited about that. But that's a unique value proposition as a buyer, right? I mean, not only are you going to be featuring your listing to all of your agents first, but also now you're giving buyers a way to experience homes without getting in the car and driving around.
That's pretty awesome. And I'm just sitting here like, now I'm not a complete convert yet. Okay. Is it convert? Is that the right word? I don't know.
Yet.
Yeah.
You're not a virtual house hunting warrior yet.
But I'm really close. And I think it's still because I don't know enough yet. Okay. So let me just see if I can recap everything. Okay. So if we want to set it up in our office, it's going to help listing agents and buyers agents. Both can actually create content and information, and both can actually house this content information in a separate lounge that we will have ourselves. And we can also share that content information with other agents if they want to view our properties. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If the other agents have the goggles or whatever else other capabilities they might need in order to upload that so their clients can watch it at the comfort of their house. Mm-hmm. Now, if a client wanted to watch at the comfort of their house without me physically having to go and meet them at their house, or do you still have to meet them at the house so they have goggles?
No. They so these are the Savi Portal goggles. They're Google certified. They Google certified cardboard made in the USA. We tested over 40 goggles before we landed on these bad boys, and our team specifically ships these goggles all over the world. What your client does is it's an easy walkthrough system. They log into our website through their phone. their phone becomes the screen for the VR. They pop their phone in the goggle, and they're in a house in Southern California, no matter where they are, whether they're in Los Angeles or down the street. They have the same experience.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Okay, so what else because I mean, what's really cool about this is like I feel like there's a lot of questions to ask, but because I don't know enough about the technology, I don't know what questions I should be asking appropriately. So what else can you teach us about VR that I don't know?
Absolutely. Well, there's a couple things. Number one, you're asking the right questions because we as an industry are really just dipping our toes in the water. Some of the mega innovators in the industry, some of these large names I prefer not to plug right now, have come out to say that VR is the future of real estate. And I think that it's so funny that I hear people saying, yeah, but I think it's a couple years off.
Yeah, okay, so do you know where people are hearing that? Because I'll even tell you a lot of the ongoing stuff here, I'll get to that in a second. A lot of the ongoing stuff, if you're into like big on podcasts and all that other jazz, you know, when people like Gary V's even pitching out there and saying, look, VR is still a few years off from actually being implemented. So when you have major influencers in marketing specifically, when you talk about marketing, which is, I think anybody that's building a real good real estate business, they have to be kind of like, you have to study marketing. Right. It's a big portion of what we do. When you have people like that are a huge influence, it you know, it is kind of what it is. And actually that was one, I literally just wrote that note down for me, is that I've even physically heard that, you know, VR is still extremely young and not a viable solution yet.
So it's absolutely no longer a viable solution. My team has closed over $300,000 in commission over the last 10 months using video and virtual house hunting. So it's completely viable. It's whether our community is ready to adopt it on a wide platform. So I think that the confusion comes in is, especially with ours, you know, you can say that VR really isn't around yet, but Matterport disproved that 3 years ago. Now Matterport becomes a price point issue. A lot of times, you said that a lot of agents watching this podcast, right, are like the $300,000 and below. We all know what that has a tendency to do with the paycheck that comes along with it. So there's a price point where people can justify that cost. In addition to that, the time it takes to create a VR tour, right? So it's like, now I'm at the property with Matterport and it's taking 3 hours and it takes a half a day to upload and it's costing me a lot of money. You know, it has a lot of deterrence. It's not convenient. And those are really the problems that we went out to solve, is that we were already doing an activity. The only difference that changed was slapping on a camera and giving someone goggles to make the experience easier. Now, another differentiation you have to make is the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. Okay. So augmented reality is that feeling when you go into a space and all of a sudden something changes in the space. I'll give you an example, actually. So there was this wine out around Thanksgiving time, or around Halloween time, and I don't know if you actually saw this, but it was out by Trader Joe's, and it was awesome. You download their app, you hold your camera to your phone up to the wine bottle, and it was called 9 Crimes. You'll look into it now. And the photo on the wine bottle would come alive and tell you about the crime that person had committed to get on the wine bottle.
See, I don't know if I would like that, just because it would remind me of too much of high school, and
it's very like Harry Potterish, right? Like the moving, it has a life of its own. But that's augmented reality. So
yeah, see, I don't. Yeah. So this is like stills.
The wine bottle specifically was a still picture. When you held the app up to it, it brought the picture to life, where the picture is talking to you.
Right. Now with VR, it's just two-dimensional.
Yes, so VR is completely within the experience. It's an immersive experience. So a lot of new builders are looking to it to create, like, we can sell homes that we've never even built yet. Let's see if this is a viable floor plan. And they're actually creating those floor plans and those structures to sell and tweak so they can provide them on a mass level, right? And so that's full VR. What we're doing is more of a streaming 360 that's able to be experienced in virtual reality, but we're not building, you know, that was not applicable on the individual agent level. So when they say the industry is a couple years away, they're talking about every builder having a virtual home before you ever see a model. But in terms of an individual agent experience, it's absolutely applicable today.
Interesting. I got one question here. It says, are the images rounded? So I'm assuming maybe he's saying along the lines, and Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you're watching, like almost like a fisheye view. Is that what you're getting at, Daniel? I'm assuming so. So how does it look as far as quality when somebody's trying to physically look at that and have that experience?
The quality is great. I mean, the quality of the image is largely related to the quality of the camera and the quality of the phone you use. There are cameras. We use certain ones in our program, but our system can be used with any camera and any goggle. So for us, we're the intermediary, right? So Savi Portal isn't just about virtual house hunting. Our platform allows you to upload documents. It allows you to your clients to respond to the videos. It allows you to upload pictures. I mean, it's basically a virtual house hunting space. The sexiest part about it is the virtual house hunting. But when you do a 360 image, I'll actually upload a link to one when we get off here in the comments. And when you upload a 360 image and you bring it wide on your phone, when you move your phone, it moves your view. So it's not fisheyed. In the same way that you experience on Facebook right now, we have people posting 360 images, right? You have to move your phone to move the view. You do the same exact same thing in the home as they experience it.
Right. It looks like Aaron just popped up something. Is there an example somewhere so we can see what it looks like? Absolutely. So if like an agent wanted to experience this with you, let's say if they were reaching out to you to try to pick up products, because I'm assuming you do sell products out to agents and assist agents, right?
Yes, we do. So I really did not get into this business to sell goggles and cameras, but probably 3 weeks before we went to launch, I realized we need to create an easy solution, and not only that, but like a brandable solution. Unfortunately, we're in an ego-driven business, right? It's about us, it's about our clients, about our relationship. When I give them a pair of goggles, I don't want to be talking about a third-party company. I want to be supporting myself and my business. So yes, there are products that we sell, but again, it's not specific to our company. And I can post some links here in the comments once we get off for a full demo of the platform, as well as what one of the videos would look like. So that way people can actually see how it feels.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, if you could put them in the comments, and then when we strip this down and put it on YouTube and everywhere else, I'll make sure we carry all those links over as well. Okay. So, more people can see that, because it's, and I got to admit, I'm going to look too. As I'm listening, I'm seeing the different benefits that we could probably do, especially, I think for me, as a single, mostly focused on listings, I don't know if I would go out of my way yet to make it part of my process. And it's mostly, I don't really want to say fear, but it's just ignorance. It's pure ignorance, So I think I would just have to experience it once or twice before I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm committed to it.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, we built the platform to really help with the scalability of the buyer side. One of the things I love about the listing side is that, and what you've experienced with Matterport recently, is that Matterport is the technology that's available to anyone, right? So no offense, but no neighbor's going to call you and be like, hey, I want to use you because you use Matterport, because it has nothing to do with you. It's a third-party technology. When you create a 360 video or a 360 showing, a 360 tour of your listing, and you're walking through and saying, I've sold 6 houses on the street in the last 3 years. I wanted to take a moment to tell you why this property is different, why we priced it the way it is, and what upgrades it has to justify that price. That's about you. That's not about the house. That's about you. That's how you get listings. Right. Is using that to then, not only sell to buyers, but also sell to sellers. You want to differentiate yourself into expert in that area.
Yeah, that makes good sense. Yeah, I dig that.
And
okay,
that's an opportunity that you're not given with Matterport, and that you're not really given with many other platforms at this point. Right. So one of the exciting 2.0 versions, I'm plugging a lot of our 2.0 that comes out mid-January, but is that we actually will have a listing capability where you'll be able to promote that listing through social media with a lead capture associated with it. So,
I'm liking it more.
Yeah. Then it might help to know that our average agent who spends 60 days using our marketing material brings on 3 to 5 clients looking for the service. That also might feel good depending on your price point.
Feels good too. Yeah, it's depending on your price point. I mean, if you're out in the beach communities, that's a win, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So on the buyer side, I see it as a huge benefit. And I think I might definitely bring this up. I know we have a big team meeting on Thursday, but I definitely see the benefit. It gives an opportunity. Well, you know what it is? I see flexibility in it. To be honest with you, that's kind of what I see. So you're working with a client, and I know we've all had these clients where I'm not saying they're difficult by any stretch of the mind, but they're taking some energy. Literally, it could be like, I'm going to head out. Here's these 3 or 4 properties that I want to show them. They aren't free, and we deal with a lot of clients that don't live here. They're actually, purchasing. They live out of state. They're either moving or they're just buying just the house to move into eventually. And we literally could knock out 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, just go out for the day, knock it down, say, all right, take a look, let me know what you think, and just upload it back into our lounge. So if other agents, but I do like the fact that even if it's in-house listings, it's something else that could be created that we could pitch our own listings or drop throughout our database. And I think that would be the big one for me.
Yep.
So we're able to hand it to every agent that's in the brokerage and basically say, okay, you have, 100, 1,000, 6,000 people in your database. Here you go, drop it in. And I think especially if you can drop it on social media and say, hey, check out our newest, latest, greatest listing. How cool would that be?
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty neat, personally. So yeah, I'm starting to see the benefits.
Yeah,
I'm talking myself into it here.
Well, it's definitely applicable. And let's take it from a different perspective. We had talked a little bit about your growth that your company has taken place and kind of what's expected through the end of the year. Would it be harder or easier for you to bring on buyers agents, any agents, if you were to let them know you have a tool to provide to them that's going to save them 85% of their time on nights and weekends? Yeah. Especially when recruiting to those positions, us as buyers agents, and I'm not a buyer's agent, I'm a team leader, I have five agents underneath me, but we know we are in the reactive position. And we're in the reactive position because the team lead doesn't want to be anymore. And they've gained the pipeline, right? But if you can give them a tool that gives them back the power, all of a sudden, some of these individuals who are great agents, but maybe didn't have the type of lifestyle where they could be reactive, maybe they're a single parent, maybe they're, there's a million reasons, right? Now you're giving them the power to exercise their craft again in a very effective way. Another way that we actually have used it within our team is to start partnering with new builds in the area, where most of our agents or our clients actually tour new construction before they ever go see a resale home again. And one of our buyer's agents has actually been very successful in opening 4 contracts that way by partnering with the builder and saying, hey, this is what we do, not publicly agreeing. I'd like to share with my buyers. And they're on board. So
awesome.
There's just a lot of different aspects. What I would encourage people to do is don't listen to the hype. It's not a couple years away. It's here. It's now. It's ready. And will it continue to evolve? Absolutely. Are we pulling coders out of their moms and dads' basements right now to build this platform for you? Absolutely. But
right.
At least it's there. And it's definitely is having an impact for sure. I also think the last thing that I'd love to say is that there is a benefit to being an early adopter, right? Let's go back in time. Like, what if you were the first person who mastered SEO, like Gary Vee? What if you were the first person who mastered Facebook marketing? How has that agent's life changed compared to the agents who are just taking it up now?
See, I'll simplify it even more. Like from my perspective, to me, it's not even a matter of if you were the first adopter. It's more along the lines, I would say, with even my experiences, the technology that you start learning now, let's say it's not viable. Let's say we were agreeing with everybody, right? When it is, you would have progressed naturally to actually be that expert within the space that now is required. No different than, whether it's Facebook. Who would have thought Facebook would basically become one of those things where you have to be on Facebook in order to sell a home? I mean, and you don't have to, but let me tell you, you got to have a presence. Yep. Zillow, Imagine, you have to have presence in different things because these are de facto standards where people go and search for homes. If they're buying, you have to be on the social media space. You have to be online. You can't just create. Let me rephrase. There's a lot of agents out there that spend $500 and create a website and call it a day. But if you want to really produce, that's not how to do it, right? So to me, I view it as maybe it's an opportunity to start learning the technology. So when it's beyond viable and it's actually a requirement, it's a de facto standard. This is just something that you have to have in order to be competitive. You're ahead on the technology. When we know as real estate agents, when that happens, usually 90+% of the industry is lost and they're scrambling. Mm-hmm. They're lost and they're scrambling. They're trying to figure it out and they're just struggling. Yeah. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, well, what's the harm in trying to give it a run? We deal with a lot of buyers. We deal with our listings, even for my own listings. I'll set it up for the listings, and at least it's an option and an opportunity. And I think it could be a chance for me to go and pitch that in future listing appointments, because I love pitching the fact, with our lead capture stuff. Hey, here's just for your house in this area, 6,000 buyers right here actively looking. Yeah. What's that? They say they're good at social media. Okay, well, I have close to 50,000 people on my Facebook page. How many? Oh, they have 300. Are you sure they're good at social media? I am. See, it's right here. So,
and not only that, but check out all of their comments on these properties, and that if we have to make an adjustment, we have viable feedback from people. You're going to love our lead capture listing tool then. It's soon, because people will just be able to go through your lead capture directly to the page to take the 360 tour.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, well, I'm we're going to have to talk. I actually think I want to try to give this a run. I might actually, if you're available, we'll set it up, have you even come out and talk with our team, because, yeah, why not? It makes good sense, because I'll be honest with you. I don't think, if I hadn't talked to you, because I've heard other people talk about VR. So and it's going to hurt people's feelings, because they might be watching this or see it eventually. And they're like, well, I was that person. And I just, it didn't do anything for me. I just wasn't, maybe I wasn't emotionally ready for it. Sort of like, again, in my 20s, the idea of getting married wasn't real. So I waited until 35, but now I love being married. You know what I mean? I couldn't see myself doing anything else. And I guess maybe it was because I wasn't emotionally ready, or they just didn't explain it well enough to where it touched what I feel like real estate agents need. Because every time I hear it, all I hear is what's cool about it, but nobody ever talks about what's the need. How can I sell more homes?
Absolutely. And I think that that's a great thing you just brought up. We launched August 1st and we attended Inman, San Francisco, August 4th. And when all these copycat programs start coming out, I'll post a picture of all the CEOs and executives that took our tour that first week. But that being said, the biggest feedback from some of the largest names in the industry, like the people I was terrified to show this to 4 days in, was, wow, we have not seen a more applicable program to benefit our agents in a long time. Because like you said, right, it's gimmicky. A lot of times people build technology and then they want to reapply it to realtors. Like, oh, well, it could work for realtors.
Yeah, because it was neat.
Of them, and they just buy anything. And it's like, I was that person. I am that person. Like, I get pitched to all the time. And so when we started this system and started the service and really started the platform, I was like, the only reason we did it is because it had such a massive impact. And especially, we would not have repackaged it to offer to other agents if it didn't have a direct impact on me, my team, my agents, and our clients, for sure.
Right. I got one question here. It looks like Daniel popped up one. It says, are you able to brand these videos? I'd like to get your input.
Absolutely. I'll post a link, and when you look down the video that I'm going to post, you'll actually see the virtual reality house hunting logo. We train our agents using the one of the cameras that we train on to be able to insert their custom logos into the bottom. You can also, there are companies out there that we're working now to align partnerships with, where they could edit intros and outros for you. We don't really find it necessary because it's like a private setting. But on our 2.0 version, when we do have the lead capture available that's coming, that will be a branded window. So it will be your contact information, your name, and the information going directly to your inbox, and 2.1 directly Xaviered into your CRM.
Right. And I would like to throw in real quick, Daniel, on some of our stuff that we create, we actually don't brand it on purpose, just for us. And if I were using this technology, I would probably consider that as well. The reason why is I love giving out our walkthroughs and everything else, the materials that we have, to buyers agents. I don't care if, and it's funny because a lot of listing agents are like, you don't market my listing. What? Market our listing all day.
Sell that house.
I don't care. I don't care if you put your face and your logo on it. I don't care. As long as you sell the house. That's my job, is to sell the house. So I personally don't brand not all of our stuff, but some of our stuff, because I want to feed that to buyers agents. And we have a separate program where it's through email. We send it out, all of our new listings. We actually send out campaigns. We target market real estate agents that are buyers agents and producing agents. We send them all of our stuff online, so they can go out and use our product to sell to all their buyers. I want them to send it to their entire database. That's just my opinion. Yeah, but I think it's cool that you brand it too.
Chris, one of the magics that we, obviously my team's been using this for a while. So we figured out the art between being specific and vague in the same sentence, meaning I have 5 agents working throughout San Diego County from from Temecula to South Bay to Coronado. And by being specific and vague, we actually will, with the listing agent's permission, of course. My second question I ask them is, in the event that my client doesn't want to write an offer on this property, are you comfortable with me sharing this with my private network of buyers? And so we have our team, and you have, 30 agents, your office is building, right? If you're on a single account, you can share all of those videos with every buyer that you have in a portal.
That's awesome.
The magic really started happening when our first client, let's say the Jones family, they're like, you know what, it's just not the right fit for me, just too much work. And then we're thinking, okay, so who else is in our database who would maybe this would work for, not because they want to buy a house right now, but we want to give them value and context. And we share it with the Smith family, and the Smith family comes back and they're like, we want to buy that house. And we're like, wow. For instance, my buyer's agent, Erica, was just telling you about one 7-minute video of a new build, and he's opened 4 escrows on that single floor plan. One time, 7 minutes.
That's pretty cool. I was sitting here just thinking of some other ideas too, but I mean, they're like on a larger scale. I'm like, imagine if you could walk into a zip code and just hire somebody, at a reasonable price to walk around and just literally video everything. Just video everything and create a one-stop portal. You're looking for a 3-bedroom in this area. You start lining up pay-per-click advertising, etc. You basically become the one central hub and one-stop shop for all buyer input, buyer leads, inbounds, and writing offers. But that's, what do I know?
But what do you know? It's not like someone on this call has an entire inventory of every new build in San Diego. That's weird.
All right.
We'll talk.
Yeah. So, we're running out of time here. So real quick, before we get off, I want to make sure anybody that's watching this, because like I said, we're doing Facebook Live right now, but this gets stripped down. It goes on to SoundCloud. It goes on to YouTube. In January, it's going to be launching onto the podcast. So how can people find you? How can they reach out to you? And how can they try to, if they have more questions or they just want to experience this with you, give them everything that they can to find you.
Absolutely. So one of the keywords that you can search in Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, whatever is virtual reality house hunting. It's a term that we've coined. You can find us that way in any search bar at this point. Or if you want to go directly to our website, it's www.savvyhomesportal.com. And I think that this does a mirror effect, but Savvy Homes Portal.
That's perfect.
Or you can message me directly on Facebook. And a couple things before I let you go, but I think that something unique about what we offer is that we do have an agent success coach. I'm also personally involved in the ongoing training of our agents, and we want high level of adoptions from our agents because we think it's valuable that you guys are a part of the transaction, and we want to give some pushback to those large listing platforms that are trying to push us out. So I hope everyone gives an opportunity to learn a little bit more about it.
I think it's cool. And, we'll definitely connect, you and I, outside of this, at least on our end, and we're right in the same market, more or less. Actually, no, we're pretty much in the same markets. I think we stretch a little farther north, but we go just as far south. So yeah, we definitely will talk. And, I want to thank you so much for one, just taking the time to jump on here, because I know we've been trying to connect now for a couple of weeks. So I really appreciate you taking the time. But for two, I've gone back and forth, and even my wife asked me, she's like, so yeah, what do you think? Because she's heard my views on some of these technologies. I'm like, it's like Jamiroquai with his hat. Remember when he used to wear that hat all the time? So I just, and it's funny because now you see Jamiroquai, he doesn't wear the hat. Music's still excellent. It's like, just be good with your music. Why do you wear that goofy hat? Yeah. But it seems like the more I get out of my own personal comfort zone on wanting to explore some of the newer technologies, even if I think they're gimmicky, the more I'm realizing, man, there's something here and nobody else is really using it. So it could be a serious opportunity if used appropriately. So that's really cool. And I just appreciate you taking the time and letting everybody else, of course, listen in. This is on multiple platforms, so they're going to get a chance to really dig in and hear you really forever. So whether you realize it or not, I think what's cool about the way that we're putting up a lot of the real estate blitz stuff is from now until eternity, which is why we've even been I've been trying real conscious to not say it is 2017 turning 2018, because this is going to be, years. People will be watching this stuff in the different places.
It'll be funny in 10 years when everyone says that VR is supposed to be an $80 billion industry. I'm sorry, not even 10 years. In 2025, they say VR is supposed to be an $80 billion industry. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to tag this photo and be like, see?
I told you. Should have got on board. So I guess that's going to be it. If you hold on a second, I'll chat with you once we get off. But for everybody else that's watching, thanks for watching. We've had quite a few viewers throughout, and I'm going to make sure that I post this up so you guys can watch it again. But thank you everybody for checking out. That's my Instagram. I don't know if you can hear that. It's going berserk over here. But thank you everybody, of course, for always watching Real Estate Blitz. Please do me a favor, like, share, comment. If you watch this, and I have a strong feeling that this is going to be one of those videos, especially when I put it on YouTube, where it's going to catch legs. Like literally, I don't know if you do you do a lot of YouTube, Lauren?
I'm not a big YouTuber.
No? Okay, so
you're gonna see
YouTube.
my face. You gotta,
yeah. certain videos they won't catch right away, but you give them like 2 or 3 months of marinating, and all of a sudden, like thousands of people, like every day, you can expect hundreds of views. And I have a feeling this is going to become one of those videos. As people start getting more and more engaged, this video is just going to get hit over and over and over and over. So if you end up watching this and it gave you some value, first off, reach out to Lauren. Try to, connect with her, talk to her. That's what I did. I reached out to her. Actually, I think you reached out to me too on different things that we saw each other doing. But second, do me a favor and share this content, share this information out, share it to other agents that are out there. Don't be the person that's like hoarding all the knowledge and information and being all greedy. Get it out there. Help other people do more business. Help other agents become bigger, better professionals, because by all of us trying to help each other out, become more professional at our skill set, it's going to give us all more business. So keep sharing it out there. Share out this information. And that's all I got today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Lauren, if you hold on 1 second, we'll chat. See y'all later.